Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm Rick Plaskett, a certified business and leadership coach here in Columbus, Ohio. And today, my guest is Kevin Milligan. He is the owner and the founder of Milligan's Maple Syrup. It's quite a unique business, and I can't wait for him to share what he's all about in this interview. While we're doing this, he's going to give us a little bit about his business, a little bit about some of the challenges, his best practices, and really give us a peek into what it's really like to operate a business. And this is a pretty unique business that most others may not have a similar type of a business cycle and some of the business needs. If this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe so that you can get notifications of our future conversations. Kevin, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of the show.
Well, super. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, I've kind of let a little bit of the cat out of the bag, but you do have, and Milligan Maple Syrup is a unique business for our audience. Why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of your background, how you got there, how you got the business started, and a little bit about what the business is.
Yeah, sounds good. So I started the business back in 2015. My original background, I went to Miami University and I majored in accounting. At the time, I graduated in 2010. At the time, that was really the only major that was consistently having high job placement, and I did pretty well, in the classroom with it. And I thought, hey, this is okay. I can't see myself doing this for the rest of my career, but I think this is going to be a good background. Fast forward to graduating and starting out, I absolutely hated it, despised it. Um, I I have pretty bad ADHD, and I just was not very interested in it. I found it to be very mind-numbing, and yeah, I just wasn't passionate about it. Really wanted to hit the reset button almost immediately, and as time went on, as I learned more, the sentiment and feelings were still the same, and moms know best. I was complaining to my parents about my career in accounting. She was actually an accountant for my dad's architecture business. She was previously in public accounting, like I was, and she suggested I make maple syrup down at our farm. When I say farm, it's just a big forest. It's located down in Athens County, a little town called Amesville. No cell service, middle of nowhere, population of about 120. And my family originally bought it as a timber investment back in the 90s and also as a place to hunt and fish. My dad's a very big into hunting and fishing, and so is his siblings and yeah, his side of the family. Myself, I don't really have the attention span for it. I'd rather be playing a sport or doing something else. But nonetheless, we started researching and found out that, hey, we actually do have quite a few maple trees. We have 650 acres down at our farm. We are one of the largest certified family sustainable forests. We work very closely with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources to put together a forestry management plan. And I knew absolutely nothing about making maple syrup. To be honest, I thought it was just Aunt Jemima, Mrs. Buttersworth, and that was it. And she suggested that idea, and I didn't really know what to think. At first, I kind of dismissed it. And then the next day, I went grocery shopping and I saw a bottle of the real stuff selling on the shelf. And honestly, the price kind of caught my eye. I was like, wow, this sells for quite a bit per ounce compared to Aunt Jemima, Mrs. Buttersworth. And that's kind of what got me intrigued. And I quickly learned that it sells for a premium because of the amount of labor that goes into it, the uh, being dependent on Mother Nature to cooperate, and then also the equipment. But I started researching online, watched quite a few YouTube videos, read some books, and then I started visiting some small and medium-sized operations and tried to pick the brain of fellow syrup producers. And the maple community is great. There's people that are super passionate about it, whether they're only tapping 10 trees in their backyard or they're doing 10,000 trees. It's a very very open and collaborative group of people in the industry. There's quite a few different ways to go about making syrup, and there's a lot of advancements in technology. It used to be everyone would just use buckets, and you know, back in the old days, be a horse and buggy type deal, transporting sap through the woods. Now there's tubing systems, and yeah, I was just very fascinated by the whole production side of it, and decided, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. It first started out as a side business. I was actually went to go work for my dad's architecture firm, which allowed for a lot of flexibility for me to get involved in starting the syrup company. It was a lot of hard work, very steep learning curve, but first year we tapped 400 trees, and really enjoyed being outdoors, and being able to steer the ship in the direction that I wanted it to go, and not being dependent on someone else. And yeah, at the end of the production season, I was pretty excited. I'm like, hey, I can actually do this. I can make the syrup. It was very difficult, but I felt pretty confident with it. Unfortunately, the sales part of it, I was not very confident with. I knew absolutely nothing about sales. I had taken one sales class in college. It was my last class to graduate, and honestly, my foot was out the door. I already had a job lined up and all of that. I kind of was just going through the motions, but yeah, I knew absolutely nothing about sales. I was just a goofy accountant, just trying to figure it out. And all it took was the first sales meeting I had at a general store in Amesville, place called the Coonskin Crossing, and I'll never forget it. The first sales meeting, I was waiting for the owner, Mark, and I was sweating buckets and was thinking, if I can't sell to them, then I'm really going to be screwed. And then part of me was also thinking, you're not going to sell all your syrup at this little general store in a town, with a population of 120. So thankfully, the first one, our first sales visit was successful, and that's all it took for me to get my confidence and start going from there. And I actually had a friend from college that reached out to me. When I created the Facebook page, he reached out and was like, "Hey, is this thing for real or is this a joke?" Because I am a pretty goofy guy, so I wouldn't be too far out of left field for people to think that I'm starting some random Facebook page to do this. And I was like, no, this is real. And he actually was a chef at a breakfast restaurant in Columbus, south of Lane Cafe, and told me, hey, let's get a meeting on the books, have you meet with our owner, and we can go from there. And ended up starting a farm to table partnership with them, and kind of determined that restaurants are a very good, steady source of demand compared to retail, because I might go and sell quite a few retail bottles when I first get onto the shelf, but you're dependent on people going through it and using it, and they might only be using syrup, say, once every other week, or once a month. But the restaurants, I was selling it by the gallons, and thought, hey, this is a great outlet for it. So that's how I got started, and one thing led to another. Every year we were growing, adding more restaurants that we were selling to. Also expanded into food manufacturers, and then in 2019 I decided to take the plunge and go at it full time, and haven't looked back since. 2020 COVID was extremely difficult for us, with restaurants shutting down and only having carry out. And that was a pretty dark time in the business, but it did have me take a step back and kind of focus and retool, and figure out that, hey, I need to try to expand through distribution, through different distributors. And in the long run, COVID actually helped our business considerably. So today we are selling in 17 different states. We sell almost 36,000 gallons a year. We've been featured on the Food Network multiple times. Our bourbon barrel aged maple syrup got onto Good Morning America in 2020 for about 2 seconds, but I'm gonna hold on to that 2 seconds of fame for as long as I can. We supply the Facebook corporate headquarters, their cafeteria. They use our syrup. The Phoenix Suns, the Colorado Rockies, Seattle Mariners, they all use Milligan's maple syrup. And same with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I'm a big sports guy. I played high school baseball, sat the bench a lot, but been trying to, parlay that farm to table relationship into a tryout with the team, but I'm still waiting to hear back. But I'm telling the Diamondbacks I still have some innings left in this arm, so we'll see.
How about resorts?
Yeah, resell to through our distributor, our largest distributor, Shamrock Foods. They're based in Arizona. They cover Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, and California. They sell to a lot of high-end resorts. Um, it's really good for us to have kind of the seasonality with wintertime redistribute ourselves in Ohio. I love the farm to table relationships and working with chefs, restaurant owners, general managers, and during the month of January things are pretty quiet on the restaurant front. Uh, some of it's New Year's resolutions. People are saying they're going to eat healthier, but a lot of it's really cold outside, and people don't really want to brave the cold and go out. But down south, that's when they get all the snowbirds to come, and it's an influx. With the number of people in the market, and the weather is perfect, so it really helps kind of balance it out. Like summertime down in Arizona, things slow down a little bit, but things will pick up in Ohio and some of the other states that we work with restaurants having expanded capacity with having open patios, that sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Awesome,
resell
awesome.
to a lot of hotels, like resell to three of the Hilton hotels here in Columbus, a couple in Cincinnati, also in Cleveland, and also some high-end bed and breakfast. Resell to the Inn and Spa at Cedar Falls down in the Hocking Hills area. They're the top-rated bed and breakfast in Ohio. They've been a fantastic farm partner, and yeah, it's just been a lot of fun with approaching different businesses, seeing how they build out their menu, what they're looking for, and trying to find ways for us to fit to become a farm partner.
Super, super. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, Kevin, so for our audience, what's your ownership structure? Are you the sole proprietor or do you
I
have
am.
outside investors?
Yeah, so I'm the sole proprietor. So I was the only employee for quite a while. My dad did help me out with a lot of the production, and honestly, that couldn't have done it without him. He is
Mhm.
extremely mechanical. He grew up working construction from like middle school through college, and has held a number of different roles. Like he worked as a pipe fitter, and he's an architect now. He has a very good mechanical mind where unfortunately I did not inherit that you know handiness, but I've learned. But yeah, it's still, I kind of try to stick to my strengths, and he's been integral in helping me. But he just wanted to, both him and my mom wanted to support me in this venture, and a lot of people thought I was crazy and lost my mind, and maybe I did, but like accounting didn't work out, and I was kind of hitting dead ends trying to pivot into something else in the corporate world, and thought, hey, this is something that I'm going to go all in on and try to make this a successful full-time business, and put in a lot of crazy hours working in the business for a long time, and I was very kind of particular about things. And then I finally learned that, hey, if I'm going to really grow and expand this thing, I need to, hire some help to do some of these tasks. And some of it was, hey, I know my limitations with my skill set. Like I'm not very artistic. So I had one of my good friends develop our logo, and then work on some of the packaging, and then hiring part-time help down at the farm because It's an hour and 40-minute drive from my house down to the farm. It is seasonal production, but it still is a very long day when, you have guaranteed 3+ hours with just the commute alone, much less the work that you're going to do. So
Sure.
hired some helpers as I grew, and we have one full-time employee this year. We hired a chef. We started a snack program, and one of my good friends from high school, who he is our account manager in the Columbus area. He handles all the distribution and ordering through the Columbus area. I was actually a friend of his that lived down the street, and yeah, building out the snacks this year has been it's been a lot of fun. It's been a big learning curve, but it's been very exciting. And yeah, we have any point in time, depending on the time of year, we have 8 to 10 part-time employees. Some are down at the farm, others are at one of our other farms, which we have one in Middlefield, Ohio, which is pretty close to Cleveland. They handle all of the bottling of syrup, because we do buy a lot of syrup from other producers with that same commitment to quality that we have, food safety, all that good stuff. And they will get syrup in 40 or 55-gallon drums, and they'll do all the bottling for our sales mix, and then they'll also package everything up and send it to either our warehouse dash office here in Columbus, or to our distributor partners down south and out west. So
So, Kevin, in such a lean organization and a seasonal one where you're full throttle and then you back off, um, give me an idea if I were to ask you percentage of your time that you invest in the business, tapping trees, packaging goods, developing your snack line versus on the business. What's your strategy for 2026? What's your plans? What's your key focus? How would you break that down percentage wise?
yeah, I'd probably say I'm about like a third working in the business, whether that's me kind of plugging holes with several of my or most of my employees are part-time, so it's sometimes difficult to have their schedules aligned to the business needs
Mhm.
schedule and that sort of thing. And also some of it is just, you know what, I like it. I know this is not the best use of my time, but I like being out in the woods. I like getting my hands dirty with that sort of thing. So and then obviously there's some based on necessity, but yeah, it took me a long time to really get to the point of working on the business rather than working in the business. Some of it can kind of go hand in hand with making deliveries to certain farm partners and restaurants, catching up with different chefs, introducing new products, and catching up with them. Relationships are very important. The executive chef role is generally our point of contact and who we go through for initial sales visit, ordering, that sort of thing. And there's actually quite a bit of turnover in the industry with that for a variety of reasons.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's for chefs wanting to expand their skill set and knowledge with going from one different type of concept to the other. Some might be they're reassigned to a new location if they're in a restaurant group. And then, ownership changes, that sort of thing. So it's been a benefit for me for our company with the turnover in the role. We work with about 80 different customers. I'd say probably two-thirds of those are restaurants and coffee shops, breweries, food manufacturers. And a lot of time when a chef leaves to go to another restaurant, they contact me because of that relationship, and restart working with that new restaurant where previously we might have hit a dead end if we tried to approach them. So it
What's your role
sometimes.
in What's your role in the sales? You shared with us your opening story of being deathly afraid on that first sales call, but clearly going from 0 to 80 full customers in a array of different market areas and market channels. Are you the chief sales officer as well, or you know, tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
it's
that?
I probably handle about 90% of the sales. I do have some of my part-time staff do some market research and kind of identify potential
Mhm.
fits, looking up menus, finding out who the chefs are, that sort of thing. And generally it starts with cold calling. I just try to call the chef and set up a meeting during an off time.
Hmm.
I will go, I'm always flexible to, what the chef or their availability.
Hmm.
They have a very chaotic job. It's high stress, fast pace, and I it's kind of one of those things that beggars can't be choosers. So I will then go and set up a meeting. I try to keep it pretty short to keep the attention span and not try to go, respect their time. Try not to go off on
Hmm.
too big of a tangent, but usually I'll bring in some background information, price lists, and then each of our products I'll give all the products that we sell, even if it's a place that it might not be a fit for a certain thing. It's just good marketing, and you know sometimes chefs are surprised, like, oh, like, do you want this back? Like, no, this is for you to keep. Share it with some of your other staff. Take it home if you want to.
Hmm.
This is for you. So
Good.
I'd say about half the time I get an answer on the spot, which I really like, and then the rest, it might take a few days or maybe up to a month. And I'm glad that it's a pretty quick turnaround time because I am pretty impatient. I know that, it's just kind of how things work, but yeah, I kind of want to know like immediately. And a lot of times I can kind of tell like, hey, this went really well. I think this is a high likelihood, or it might be, hey, I got a bad vibe, or hey, I wasn't at my best. We'll see. But yeah, I really enjoy the chase of it and trying to grow as responsibly as possible. And we're not just trying to go out and sell to anyone like Waffle House, IHOP. Like they'll
Mhm.
never even come close to being able to incorporate real maple syrup. I'm not just trying to go
Well,
out there.
Kevin, you do have a serious advantage over most of the rest of the world. Okay. Most sales, most decisions are based on emotion and not fact. And emotion is almost directly wired to your taste buds. That's why you have all of the different restaurants. You've got all of the different food shows on TV. And no one is going to taste anything from their banker, their air conditioning repairman, or their garage. Whereas you come in and you can tap directly into the chef's taste buds and their emotion. You have a pretty significant home court advantage there in
Hmm.
sales.
Yeah, I agree. And that honestly, a lot of the time, the product kind of speaks for itself.
Mhm.
Like, always try to read people. I can kind of tell sometimes, they're like, hey, they might not be in a great mood. They might be stressed about something, and like, let's just let the flavor and the taste do the talking. I'll just kind of
Mhm.
introduce some things and gently just kind of guide them to their decision through the products. And it's always fun seeing people's reaction to trying our bourbon barrel aged maple syrup for the first time. The look on people's faces, it's it's hard to describe, just seeing how excited or shocked and surprised they are. It's very rarely have I had anyone, kind of with like, it's okay, or I don't like it. Generally, it's very, very positive feedback, and that's
Mhm.
something I also enjoy experiencing a lot. So,
It's got to be fun introducing people to something new. I
yeah,
can absolutely
absolutely.
see that. Kevin, what's your vision for the new year? We're into the fourth quarter of this year. You're into your fourth quarter cycle as well. As the owner, what's your vision? What do you want out of 2026?
So we'd like to continue to grow our syrup sales, but the snack program that we developed, we've been doing so we have maple puffs. Think of corn, think of like Pirate's Booty, but coated in maple syrup and butter. It's a corn puff, and it's my guilty pleasure. We have a maple popcorn where, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but people have told me that it's, in line with Garrett's based out of Chicago. We have a maple trail mix, which is savory, sweet, and spicy. It's fairly, in terms of snacks, these are about as clean as snacks as you can
Hmm.
get. We also have maple glazed salted nuts, and we have started selling just individual nuts to restaurants that do candied nuts. Like for
Hmm.
instance, we just started selling a spicy pecan to Lindy's that they are using it on a salad. Resell to quite a few country clubs in town where we just have maple glazed salted peanuts for their trail mix dispensers and their golf
Hmm.
shop.
Hmm.
We've gotten into to retail now. We picked up a new distributor based out of Cleveland, Agora Foods, and we're getting to a good point now with from our packaging standpoint and production. Like we invested in new equipment, we hired a couple part-time cooks to have our culinary director and chef oversee. And yeah, I just like to continue gaining traction with selling to large volume of the nuts and of our different snacks, whether it's retail,
Hmm.
high volume, or selling in large bulk. Our
What's
biggest,
your vision for that? What's your vision for your makeup of just throw something out there 3 to 5 years from now. What would be your percentage mix of snacks versus straight maple syrup? What do you want it to be?
I would love for it to be 50-50. It might be a little bit of a pipe dream, but we'd have to scale up a little bit with our facility and equipment.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
I'd love to be able to employ like 3 to 4 full-time like cooks, chefs, and be
Mhm.
producing the snacks year round. Right now, we're doing like 2 days a week of production, and it's like one one or two cooks doing it, and I'd love to be able to do that. The cash flows with maple syrup, the business are awful. It's made during a 4 to 6 week window, and a lot of people, if they're selling syrup in bulk, they want to get paid immediately,
Mhm.
and that's difficult with us, buying a year's worth of inventory all in, a 1 to 2 month span for our cash flows. So the snacks are advantageous where, hey, we can
Yeah.
order the ingredients on demand, based on demand. We do, kind of as a startup, we are a little bit of a make to stock right now, but eventually we will get to the make to order, and it'd really help out the cash flow of the business if the
Mhm.
more that we grow the snack program. And it's kind of one hand washes the other with we have quite a few country club customers that were ordering our syrup, and now they're ordering our snacks. We're
Mhm.
getting into different hotels for their mini bars or their mini markets with the snacks, and then they're ordering a gallon of syrup here and there. So
Sure.
yeah.
Kevin, let me ask you a question on your approach to goal setting. You went from zero to what did you say, 19 different states in the syrup.
Hmm.
You identified a cash flow issue, so you've got a solution for that now in the snacks, and you want to grow that to be a comparable 50-50 mix for your business. That sounds like a great goal. And the question I'm asking is, what's your mentality on goal setting? And let me set the stage for you. If you know what you need to do to achieve a goal, it's not really a goal. You just put it on your to-do list and you get it done. But a good goal requires you to grow a little bit, to learn a little bit, to scale a little bit, or to hire a little bit. There's a gap in there that should excite you and also create just a little bit of anxiety because you don't know it yet. You have to grow in order to meet that goal. Is
Yeah.
something like a 50-50 mix in business grow and not reducing your maple syrup, but growing your snacks to that level? Is that something you know how to do? You can do it, or is that growing to that volume is going to be asking you to grow a little bit as the owner and the founder?
Yeah, it's definitely going to ask me to, have me grow a little bit with retail sales, have a little bit of a presence, but it's, if we're going to grow the snack program to, be that level, we're going to have to build out our retail presence.
Hmm.
We actually last night we did a tasting event at Wyland's Market for their Halloween trick or treat special, and um, doing in-store tasting events, putting together retail displays, figuring out the science and psychology of shelf placement, that sort of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it is. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I am a very competitive and goal-oriented person, so I don't care what it looks like to get there. I'll do whatever I can to achieve the goals. And yeah,
Super.
there will be some swings and misses for sure. We've had several swing or
Hmm.
quite a few swing and miss on different things, but um, I'm pretty confident that we can get there. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, say it only comes to like 10% of the business, then that's fine. The
So,
main
Kevin, let
goal.
me change. Yeah, yeah. I want to hold you off. I apologize for cutting you off there. You're going down the path of the dark side. Okay. All of the it could fail, it may not happen, it may not happen. Let's look at the positive, the 100%, the ballpark grand slam 4-run home run. If you had that agreement in the very next sales call that you do, and all of a sudden your snack sales are 10x, do you have the ability to do that right now? Can you meet that?
Yeah, I think we could. We need a little bit of a ramp up time, but for instance, we started selling our snacks at uh, sporting events. Athens High School near our farm, they
Mhm.
are selling our snacks at their football games, and I think the ultimate pipe dream would be trying to sell at Major League Baseball, NFL, the big sports leagues. I mean, that's a whole different ball game with distributors and that sort of thing. But even just getting the Cincinnati Reds or Cleveland Guardians to sell, that would be, yeah, I'd be over the moon if that were to happen. So,
Super, super, super. And again, the reason I wanted to cut you off is every limiting word and belief, you need to balance that with a what if yes was the only answer? And if you're not shooting for the yes as the owner and as the founder, then the only people that are going to be driving you is going to be Murphy and Mother Nature, and you're going to be responding to what they do. Now they're going to hit you anyhow, but if you have that ultimate end destination, then Murphy and Mother Nature are simply your ways telling you, recalculating your route, get off at this exit, but they're still keeping you at the same destination. So,
yeah.
hey, thank you so much. Listen, we have certainly covered a lot of ground in this conversation today. And for those of you that are watching, I highly recommend that you come back and watch it a few more times because Kevin has given us some really great nuggets from his experience. And listen, somebody that has grown from zero and not really knowing anything about a business to being represented in multiple states and starting and launching a whole completely different uh, stream of income and product line. I absolutely want you to come back and do this. So as we wrap up, I want to hit a section of questions that I call rapid fire questions. Are you ready for
Okay.
these? Just
Yeah,
what's
ready.
top of your mind? Okay.
All
Kevin,
right.
what do you consider your key to success?
Key to the success is surrounding myself with good help and working with the right type of businesses, and not trying to not try to go for that short-term gain, and really just kind of focus on, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Super. What's a piece of advice that you would give to another business owner, perhaps in your type of situation?
Um, Hire as much help as possible with the resources that you have. Focus on the branding and be prepared to put in an insane amount of hours.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. What's a book that you're reading right now, or a book that you would recommend that the audience reads?
I just finished reading Lone Survivor by Marcus Luttrell, the Navy SEAL, and
Hmm.
it kind of teaches, or kind of taught me a lot about resilience. And sometimes when I think like, man, this is tough, and I think of I think of the story, I'm like, yeah, that's this is nothing compared to what some other people are doing. Like, the problems that I run into are the epitome of first world problems. Like, it's kind of grounding for me. Like, something doesn't go my way, or have some sort of hiccup. Like, hey, I have a very good life, and this I'm very fortunate and blessed to be in the position that I am, being able to work for myself, and to live in America, and also be in a state that has maple trees. So it's always kind of keeping things in perspective. Like first world problems, I'm very lucky and fortunate. So
Absolutely. And you use the same words as I use, problems of a first world nation.
yeah,
It's also in raising a family and raising children, many times they would come home and the answer to how was your day was fine. And then I'd say, no, now we're going to go into give me the good and the bad. And every time they started out with the bad, they had to double the good. So if they gave me one bad, they had to give me two good, and there was no leaving the dinner table until that exercise was finished.
I
Um,
like it.
it was fun, but it also, I believe, it helped everyone balance that, you could be having a really, really crappy day. It's still better than the alternative. Every day that's above the green grass is better than being below the green grass. Super.
Absolutely.
Listen, if there was one area of your business that you could improve immediately and tomorrow morning it would be exactly what you want, what would that area of the business be?
If I had a CFO that was really, really good at forecasting and, figuring out how to leverage debt financing, and able to really break everything down, to all the nuts and bolts behind it. My accounting background, I wasn't a great accountant, I'll be honest, but it's created a skill set for me where I can look at things from a very high level and have a pretty good idea of what's going on. But
Hmm.
obviously, some people are like, "Oh, why don't you go out and hire a CFO?" Like, well, a good CFO is going to cost an awful lot of money, and I don't have probably 40 hours of consistent work a week with them. So I'd probably say, yeah, the CFO would be very useful. And actually, I am talking to an outsourced fractional CFO company later this afternoon, as a matter of fact. So
Okay. Awesome.
I'm hopeful, but I always go in with a healthy amount of skepticism, because if you totally drink the Kool-Aid with someone, what someone's selling, you might be caught chasing your tail down the road with, man, I didn't think about this, or should have not taken them at their word 110%. So
Yeah. Yeah, in that particular area, when you get to be my age, Kevin, you'll recognize that everybody may not be a liar, but they're not necessarily telling you your truth.
right.
And your decisions are based on how good your questions are.
Yep.
So listen, before we get to the final question of the day, if there's somebody watching our interview and absolutely wants to become your Nest best customer or wants to get in touch with you because of something that you said about how you achieve your success, what would be the best way for them to contact you?
You can contact me through our website, send me an email. I'm one of those business owners with the business phone number. That's actually my personal phone number too. So I always tell customers, feel free to call or text me anytime. Like I am not working around the clock, but I'm someone that has a difficult time turning off. So I don't mind the occasional text or email that's work related, outside the working hours to, kind of help smooth things out for the rest of the normal working days. So
Super.
social media, we have Facebook, Instagram, even my friend Corey that handles the Columbus distribution. He even got us on TikTok. I have him handle that. I'm not cool enough to be on TikTok, but it's a young person's thing. So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
we're always willing to chat. So
Super. Well, thank you for sharing that. Kevin, last question of the day. What do you find most inspiring?
I really enjoy the philanthropy part of the business, giving back to the local culinary communities and cities that support us. We host cooking competitions where we donate gallons of our product and students will develop recipes incorporating maple because maple syrup is not just for pancakes and waffles. It can be used as a glaze on
Mhm.
meats, vegetables, fruits. Uh, Put it on desserts. I love it on ice cream, yogurt, oatmeal. Maple syrup is good on anything but the floor. So we bring in. Thank you for laughing at my corny syrup humor. We have area chefs come in and act as judges, and students compete for cash prizes. And a lot of the programs are like, why are you doing this? Like, we don't have any like local or any like farmer, maybe like a company like Cisco or Performance Food Group might have something as a scholarship, but like, why are you doing this? It's like, well,
Mhm.
I think it's the right thing to do to give back to the community that supports you. And the culinary school has the future executive chefs, the future restaurant owners, learning to hone and build their crafts. And I enjoy that. I also enjoy seeing people around town wearing a Milligan's Maple t-shirt or a Milligan's Maple hat. I give out tons of t-shirts and hats, hundreds annually, and it's to customers, whether you're the lowest person on the totem pole up to the owner of the company. If they want it, I give out tons of t-shirts and hats, and also pass out our snacks and different products. And it's people are asking why I do this, and yeah, this is an expense that I don't have to incur, but it's a way of giving back. And I think that businesses should try to support the communities that they're in to make them a better place and give back and recognize, what helped get them to be successful.
Kevin, if I can change one word, if you'll allow me to coach you for just a second, can I
Sure.
do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Your story was absolutely inspiring, and what you do through your philanthropy is absolutely the right thing for businesses to do. And because of those two pieces, I would invite you that this is not an expense for Milligan's maple syrup. It's an investment in your future. Every hat, every shirt, every culinary competition that you do is investing in someone's future as well as yours. Use that word investing in. Imagine, are you going to spend time with your wife and kids, or are you going to invest time in them? I promise there's a different emotion that you feel just changing that one little word. You're going to be happier, and everybody else receiving hat, shirt, and culinary competitions is going to be that much more happy as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, super. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey. And thank you to the audience for watching this. I can only say that I'm drooling right now, and I'm going to have a big patch of pancakes with Milligan's maple syrup on it. If you were inspired by this, please watch it again and look for the next one that we're going to be doing. Folks, make it a great day and bye for now.